here's my anti-PLM rap in a nutshell. There are only 3 customers in the world who have ever had a PLM problem. One is Dassault, one is PTC, and one is UGS. All competitors. There is no company that I know that wakes up and says, I have a PLM problem. PLM is a artifact, it's a marketing slogan to satisfy a financial community. At a time in which most of the companies I just mentioned don't have decent financial performance. And so what I see in PLM is the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. So what's opposite? We talk about democratizing. We talk about being able to do this with thousands or companies from very small to very large. You saw 2 of the founders of a car company here. Think of the difference between that and what's involved in some of these implementations that take years. They take tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, I always laugh at a PLM implementation, costs $20 million, and now they can do engineering change orders online. So not only don't I see companies that need PLM, that don't have PLM problems, the number of successful implementations I've seen in the world is, I could count on a single hand. And at best what I would describe them as is something where you say, it's bitter medicine. I've got to take it. Nobody wakes up and says, this is a great system. This is what makes us more competitive. This is what makes it fun to go to work. This is what gives us design innovation. This is what gives us competitive advantage. The moment I start seeing companies like that, I would rethink it. Until then, I say, I think there are much more pragmatic approaches, much more digestible approaches that solve the problem of how do you inform design and engineering early in the process? How do you control a company's assets? How do you leverage them without this kind of unique, but what will turn out to be just a bizarre creation that won't stand the test of time. So that's why I try to distance myself. But I would say across all the businesses we're in, I see the same idea of how do you get more information here, how do you control the information, how do you get greater participation from all the people in the process. So to the extent that PLM's that, I'm a big supporter. People aren't buying a CRM system. They're buying, with Salesforce, they're buying a solution to a particular problem. Whereas CRM systems, are like ERP systems, which are like PLM systems. And I think there's a more pragmatic approach from everybody who's on the technology vendor side about truly solving customer problems as opposed to creating categories. One of the acid tests for me of any market in the matureness of the solution and almost the correctness of the solution is how much money is spent on the software versus how much is spent on consulting. And when the majority of money is spent on consulting, there's one of 2 reasons. The technology is a failed solution, or the customers are trying to implement something that doesn't make sense. So you can tell me which one it is in that market, but it continues to be 90% consulting revenue to 10% software sales, and the number of successful implementations, are very small.